consumers to reflect the comments of the bank. Once finalized, the document will be resubmitted to the World Bank for its considerations. Thereafter, Airports of Mauritius Limited would seek the approval of its board and subsequently of government prior to floating of tender for the construction works of the runway and other airport-related facilities. The tender is expected to be launched around January next year, with closing bids around April 2025. Contract would then be awarded, hopefully in July, with a work duration of 42 months as planned as planned to start in October 2025. And the project is expected to be completed around April of 2029.
Yes. Honorable Second Member for Flac and Bon-Accueil.
Thank you, Madam. 1B44.
Madam Speaker, the former Speaker of the National Assembly was elected on the 18th of July 2024. He submitted his resignation on the 5th of October 2024. That is, one day after the dissolution of the National Assembly. During that period of 78 days, I must say I was surprised it's only 78 days, he did so much damage in 78 days. 78 days, he chaired 4 sittings of the National Assembly and undertook 3 official missions. A visit to the Lok Sabha, New Delhi, from 16th to 17th of August 2024. Then the 2024 Inter-Regional Seminar on the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals for Parliaments of Developing Countries in China from 18th to 24th of August 2024. And third, a 10th Inter-Parliamentary Union Global Conference of Young Parliamentarians held in Armenia from 12th to 14th of September 2024. And as I said, Madam Speaker, for B of the question, the total amount spent was 748,112 rupees for 3 missions in 78 days.
Yes, the Honorable Third Member for Party Militaire and Local.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B45, please.
As regards Part A of the question, I'm informed by the Gambling Regulatory Authority that since 2019, the services of legal advisors retained by the authority and the fees paid to them are as follows. Mr. Ravi Yerigadu, from May 2019 to date, was paid 4,009,600 rupees, including a fixed retainer fee of 46,000 rupees monthly that he was going to get anyway. Secondly, Mrs. Saya Ragavavudu, from May 29th to date, was paid 1,447,825. Third, Mr. Krishnath Singh Uchaibar, from February 2022 to November 2024, was paid 4,555,570 rupees, including again a monthly fee of 130,000 rupees. I'm further informed that he was assigned the duties of head of the house, head of the horse racing division. God forbid I said head of the house. Head of the horse racing division on a temporary basis by the Gambling Regulatory Authority. In this capacity, he was also paid a total allowance of 2,339,992 rupees. That is since February 2022, which makes a total of 6,925,562 rupees. I'm also informed that he has resigned on the 10th of December 2024. Madam Speaker, with regard to Part B of the question, I'm informed that Mr. Kridiu Bikari, also known as Mr. Dave Bikari, former senior advisor at the Prime Minister's office, was a board member of the Gambling Regulatory Authority since the 13th of March 2015. He was also appointed Vice Chairperson of the Gambling Regulatory Authority from the 14th of January 2022. I'm further informed that Mr. Dave Bikari has resigned as a board member on the 12th of the Gambling Authority board on the 12th of November 2024. Regarding part B2 of the question, Mr. De Bikari was paid a total amount of 3,334,000 rupees, including again a monthly fee of 60,000 rupees as board member and vice chairperson of the Gambling Regulatory Authority.
The Honourable Second Member for Rodrigues.
Yes, thank you. 1B46.
Madam Speaker, on the 19th of January 2022, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Government of India and the Government of Mauritius for financial assistance amounting to 400 million rupees for the implementation of community projects in Mauritius, Rodrigues, and Agaliga. Out of the amount of 400 million, a budgetary provision of 19 million has been allocated under the small development projects. And I think the Indian grant for the implementation of several projects in Rodrigues for the infrastructural and sustainable development of the island. Madam Speaker, as regards to part A, B, and C of the question, I'm tabling the information requested by the member because it's a very long answer.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm thankful to the Government of India and this small development projects for rigs and disaster risk reduction, renewable energy, and especially community development. And as we are in a cyclonic period and rigs during the last cyclone Becky, 90 community and refugee centers out of only 33 were operational. And 10 of them has been removed from the list. My question is, will the Honourable Prime Minister, also responsible for finance, agreeable to further negotiate with India in extension of this Indian grant for rigs in relation to community development, to upgrading, uplifting of additional community and refugee centers there, as well as in a situation of reckless non-construction of not a single housing unit for potential vulnerable persons for the last few years.
I'll certainly do that. I'm quite actually shocked by what you're saying, but I will certainly look into that.
Thank you. Yes. Now we have the Honourable Fourth Member for Rodrigues.
Madam Speaker, 1B47.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Airport Terminal Operations Limited that the area adjacent to the external doors of the domestic departure lounge for Rodrigues was not designed as a drop-off area. In fact, this area is of an extent of about 2,560 square meters, was designed for the use as a parking area with 44 slots, out of which 35 are rented to authorized tour operators. 7 parking slots are used by the airport authorities, such as the police, the MRA, etc. The remaining 2 slots are reserved for vehicles transporting crew members. I'm also informed that the passengers departing to Rodrigues can access the domestic lounge through either the elevated roadway at the departure level 1, using either the lift or the stair, or the pickup, drop-off platform. However, vehicles transporting individuals with disabilities are given direct access to the domestic lounge. The request of the honourable member is being referred to the Board of Airport Terminal Operations Limited for them to reconsider.
Yes. The Honourable Third Member for Portway South and Portway Central.
B48, please.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that during the past 10 years, the Forensic Science Lab has been functioning in a very inefficient and ineffective manner. This has led to delays in the submission of FSL reports, which has impacted, of course, on the submission of case files to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The FSL has scientists who analyze evidence from scenes of crime, suspects, and victims. They analyze DNA from fingerprints and also human remains and suspicious substances. It has therefore an essential role to play in evidence in the criminal investigations. The former director, who retired from the civil service in February 2023, was reappointed on contract for a period of 2 years. The contract was terminated from the 26th of November 2024, and it is the senior-most chief forensic scientist who has been assigned the duties of director. Madam Speaker, the House may wish to note that following several complaints from various institutions, undertook a project for revamping of the FSL in this respect. The support of a foreign expert was sought as director in October 2010. As soon as she assumed duty, she was systematically harassed, she was threatened, she claimed she thinks she was poisoned. The feeling of her security, she preferred to resign in October 2011. But she did tell me that the way this is being run, you won't get results. You will never get results. So, Madam Speaker, for the post of the director, the incumbent will have to be a high-caliber professional, preferably with international exposure in the field of forensic science, together with a combination of leadership and administrative skills. He or she will have to be assisted by a deputy director. With regard to part A of the question, I'm informed by the acting director that the total current staffing stands at 71, including 51 who are technical staff. Regards part B of the question, B1, the acting director of Forensic Science Lab has stated that from January 2022 to November 2024, out of a total of 44,710 cases referred to the Forensic Science Lab, 39,836 cases have been completed and 4,874 are still pending. With regards to part B2 and 3 of the question, I'm informed that 3,640 drug-related cases are still pending since December 2023, and 500 samples are waiting DNA analysis since August of this year. Madam Speaker, it is clear that we need to ensure that the institution is restructured to restore its credibility and professionalism as an independent one, forming an integral part of the criminal justice system.
Thank you. Yes, Doctor, I have 5 minutes left for this PMQT. Please.
Can I ask the Honorable Prime Minister whether he can inform the House whether he has been made aware of very suspicious information of interference at very high level within the FSL as to corroborate results of DNA to match those of suspects in police custody in what was termed as cases of planting, particularly Mr. AK and Mr. BL.
I heard about this from people saying this, but we're going to have to look into this if that is so. That is a very, very grave accusation, if that is actually what happened. And but if you see what I was telling you about this lady who I got from Staffordshire University, from a Mauritian, Dr. Ram Gopal, who didn't take any fees from us, as far as I remember. He wanted to help Mauritius, and he advised that we take this lady, Mrs. McLean, who came as director of FSL. From what she told me, I'm not surprised that this could have well have happened, but we're going to investigate it.
Yes. Honourable Second Member for Rivière-des-Anguilles, Souillac.
Speaker, question B49, please.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, with regard to part A of the question, I'm informed by the Bank of Mauritius that over the period December 2014 to November 2024, the bank intervened in the domestic forex market on 142 occasions. Concerning part B of the question, over the same period, the Bank of Mauritius has injected a total of $3.6 billion in the forex market. As regards to part B1 of the question, the injection of foreign currencies was effected through the use of the official foreign currency reserves at the Bank of Mauritius. In other words, they depleted the reserves. Madam Speaker, as regards part B2 of the question, one of the priorities of this government is to have a stable rupee and an adequate supply of foreign currencies in the market. The Bank of Mauritius is monitoring the situation on the domestic foreign exchange market closely, and I'm informed that it has already started to implement several measures to address the persisting distortions prevailing in the forex market in order to ensure adequate supply of foreign currencies.
I have just 2 minutes left. We can have a try. Honourable third member for Grand Bay Poudre d'Or.
B50, please.
Madam Speaker, as indicated in the State of the Economy document, which I laid on the table of the National Assembly on the 10th of December, public sector gross debt stood at 559.1 billion rupees. At the end of June 2024, this represents 23.4% of GDP. It has, of course, increased after that. This is well above the statutory debt ceiling of 80% of GDP, which the government, the previous government, had itself set out in the Public Debt Management Act, which I must say, itself is too high. 80% is too high. It used to be 60%, but nobody paid any attention to it. At the end of 2014, when I left government, it was actually 59.5% of GDP. So they inherited the public debt situation, which was fully sustainable, under 60%. Now they have turned out to be one of the worst now in these several decades. On the basis of the state of public finances inherited from the previous government, first, the borrowing requirements of government during financial year 2024-2025 is estimated to be around 59.6 billion rupees, compared to the budget estimate, which was 38 billion. That is, it is higher by some 21.6 billion rupees. Secondly, for financial year 2024-2025, the interest payment on government debt is estimated to be 22 billion, compared by the budget. In the budget estimate, they said it was going to be 20.1 billion. Again, whereas capital repayment is estimated to be 40 billion rupees. Third, for financial year 2025-26, on a no policy change basis, preliminary indications are that interest payment and capital repayment will amount to 23.9 billion rupees and 37.1 billion respectively. As regards to part A of the question, Madam Speaker, the reimbursement mechanism will entail, again, new borrowings by government, since it already has a very high level of deficit. We will come up with remedial policies in the fiscal consolidation plan to bring public sector debt back to a sustainable level that the previous government had inherited. We will aim to put it on a downward path. It's not going to be done overnight, obviously, but we want to bring it down to the level that it should have been 60% of GDP. Concerning part B of the question, at this stage, no negotiations for an eventual standby agreement is being done with the IMF, but we are looking at all options.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Time is over for the moment. We will now move to questions to ministers. I'm announcing that PQ1B73 has been withdrawn. I think I have announced already 1B54 and 59 have also been withdrawn. So I will now call on the Honourable Second Member for Rodrigues.
Thank you. 1B55.
Thank you very much, Honourable Second Member for Rodrigues. Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the National Plant Protection Office of my ministry that no phytosanitary certificate has been issued from 2022 to date for the exportation of sandalwood from Rodrigues. As for the forestry service of my ministry, I'm informed that to date no sandalwood has been imported from Rodrigues. However, Madam Speaker, the Forestry Service has indicated that on the 28th April 2024, it received an application from Timber Touch Limited, a private company, for registration as a dealer in sandalwood. An acknowledgement certificate was issued on the 12th September 2024. On the 25th October 2024, the Forestry Service received a letter from the Commission for Agriculture, Rodrigues, informing that it had received an application dated 19th August 2024 from Timber Touch Limited for the exploitation of sandalwood in Rodrigue as follows: 10 tons from private land belonging to Mr. Jean-Marie Alas at La Ferme, and 30 tons from the property of Mr. Itier Yvan at La Ferme. On the 26th November 2024, the Forestry Service informed the Commission that it has no objection to the application provided, 1, the Sandalwood has been legally purchased from private lands and subject to the recommendation of the Commission of Agriculture. 2, the company shall have to submit shipping documents to the Forestry Service once the transportation is effected. 3rd, the clearance is only for transfer to Mauritius and is valid for single use until 30th January 2025. The Commission of Agriculture has informed that as at date, no approval to that effect has been issued. Sandalwood has therefore not been exported to Mauritius. Madam Speaker, the Commission of Agriculture has informed that the police in Rodrigue is conducting an inquiry to investigate possible infringement in the matter regarding the source of the timber. I have therefore requested the Conservator of Forests to investigate into the matter to identify weaknesses, loopholes in the process or procedure with a view to further strengthening control and ensure the proper management of Sandalwood in Rodrigue.
Thank you. You have a supplementary? Yes?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Minister, for his answer. In light of the answer given, will the Honourable Minister agreeable to see to it to amend the GN 238 of 2024 with regards to Rodrigues? Following your answers.
I will certainly look into it and ask the State Law Office if needs be to do the needful.
Thank you, Minister. Yes? The Honourable Second Member for Rivière des Anguilles, Souillac.
Madam the Speaker, question B56, please.
Madame la Présidente, le sud de l'île Maurice dépend actuellement principalement des prélèvements d'eau fluviale et du pompage des eaux souterraines, les principales sources étant les stations de traitement des eaux de Rivière-du-Poste et de Mont-Blanc. Il n'existe pas de réservoir de retenue majeur dans cette partie de l'île, ce qui pose des problèmes de sécurité hydrique, en particulier pendant les saisons sèches et les pressions du changement climatique. La construction du barrage de la rivière des Anguilles a été recommandée dans le rapport d'étude de faisabilité du projet d'approvisionnement en eau du sud de l'île Maurice en mai 2009. L'étude avait également identifié l'emplacement du barrage. Je suis informé que des études géologiques et géotechniques, y compris une conception préliminaire, ont été réalisées dans le cadre de la phase 2 de l'étude. Le projet de barrage de la rivière des Anguilles a été conçu pour répondre aux demandes en eau potable et d'irrigation jusqu'à 2050 et desservira les régions de Grand Port, de Savane et la côte sud-ouest. Le projet est mis en œuvre de manière intégrée et comprendra la construction d'un barrage, d'une station de traitement des eaux, d'une mini-centrale hydroélectrique, et le projet intégré sera financé par un consortium composé de la Banque arabe pour le développement économique en Afrique, du Fonds saoudien pour le développement et du Fonds d'Abu Dhabi pour le développement. Madame la Présidente, je suis informé aussi qu'un exercice de préqualification pour la construction du barrage de la rivière des Anguilles a été lancé le 21 février de cette année-ci, 2024, sous l'égide du CBP. À la date de clôture, le 3 avril 2024, 9 candidats avaient soumis des propositions. À la suite d'un exercice d'évaluation mené par le CBP, le ministère a été informé que 8 entreprises avaient été présélectionnées. Il convient de noter que, conformément aux accords présignés avec les organismes de financement, leur non-objection préalable à un exercice d'évaluation et des soumissionnaires présélectionnés est nécessaire avant de procéder au processus de notification aux soumissionnaires présélectionnés conformément à la loi sur le Public Procurement Act. La procédure d'appel d'offres est toujours en cours et les travaux de construction du barrage de la rivière des Anguilles n'ont pas encore commencé. Par conséquent, en réponse à la partie A de la question, aucun déboursement n'a été effectué pour la construction de ce barrage. Madame la Présidente, en ce qui concerne la partie B de la question, je suis informé qu'une fois les organismes de financement auront fait part de leur non-objection à la liste restreinte de soumissionnaires établie, l'appel d'offres pour la désignation d'un entrepreneur de travaux sera lancé par le CPB. Les documents d'appel d'offres sont actuellement en cours de finalisation par les consultants et seront examinés par le CPB avant leur lancement. Il est prévu que l'appel d'offres pour la désignation d'un entrepreneur et l'avis de non-objection des organismes de financement quant à la sélection des entrepreneurs pourrait prendre environ 6 mois. La durée de construction du barrage est d'environ 40 mois, ce qui fait 48 mois. Ce sera presque à la fin de notre mandat. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Merci, Monsieur le Ministre. The Honourable Third Member for Montagne Blanche and Grand River South East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 1B57.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am informed by the District Council of FLAC that a survey was carried out on 12 December 2024 by its officers. It was observed that the chemin coopératif in Beléa is in good condition and does not require any reconstruction works. However, it was noted that for Conlacerbe and MCB Road, the Central Water Authority has undertaken pipe-laying works along the roads, but same have not been reinstated yet, as the work is still ongoing. The CWA has informed that the pipe-laying works are expected to be completed by end of December 2024, while the resurfacing of the roads will be completed by January 2025. It should be highlighted that a waiver was granted to the CWA by the District Council of FLAC. With regard to the cost estimate, the reinstatement of the two lateral roads at Conlacerbe will amount to 2,275,000 rupees, while for the road at Conlacerbe Avenue Perdot Bec, same will amount to 1,610,000 rupees. As regard for the MCB road, the cost is estimated at 1,140,000 rupees. Furthermore, with regard to Chemin La Forge, the cost of resurfacing works is estimated at 875,000 rupees. As no budget has been earmarked, the District Council of FLAC will seek financial clearance accordingly prior to carrying out the works. Thank you.
Your next question, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 1B58.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the issue of conversion of the Sebastopol MITD Center into a state secondary school does not arise. The Sebastopol SSS is a full-fledged secondary school, and the MITD Center is situated within the compound of the Sebastopol SSS. In fact, the MITD Center in Sebastopol exists only since the start of the academic year 2024. Following the results of the NC in 2023, whereby a high majority of the students of the extended program did not meet the NC pass criteria, the MITD implemented the NC2 courses with brighter program to ensure the continuity of education to the students. The program was meant to enable students to join the vocational sector, including the world of work, through the National Certificate Level 2 and thereafter leading to National Certificate Level 3. In that context, the unused part of Sebastopol SSS was put at the disposal of the MITD to run NC2 courses with brighter program for trainees in the eastern region, primarily from the Sebastopol, Montida, and Olivia regions. The area consisted of 10 classrooms, namely 8 classrooms in the block A, 4 on the first floor and 4 on the second floor, and 2 classrooms from block B, 1 classroom on the first floor and 1 classroom on the second floor, and 2 toilet blocks of block A. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the Sebastopol SSS is a low-intake secondary school located at the foot of Montagne Blanche mountain and catering for boys in Zone 2 region, Beaubassin, Rosil, and East. It commenced its operation in the year 2000, and its building consists of 5 blocks, A, B, C, D, E, with a total of 28 classrooms. Currently, only 18 classrooms, along with administrative offices and specialist rooms, are in use by the staff and students of Sebastopol SSS. For the academic year 2024, it had an overall total of 167 students enrolled in grades 7 to 11, including students of the extended program. I am also informed that the school population at Sebastopol SSS has been decreasing constantly over the past years. There is only 1 section of each grade, and there has been no intake at grade 12 level since 2019. For academic year 2025, requests for admissions stand at 19, comprising of only 11 students for grade 7 and only 8 students for the first year lower secondary of the new foundation program in literacy, numeracy, and skills. Madam Speaker, I'm also informed that the MITD invested some 2.47 million in its center at Sebastopol SSS in terms of upgrading works, procurement of training, and IT equipment and acquisition of furniture. The activities of the MITD and the secondary school at the Sebastopol SSS building are well separated, including different break periods. All arrangements are in place so that there are no conflicting activities and both institutions operate in harmony. Madam Speaker, the Sebastopol SSS will continue to remain a full-fledged secondary school to serve the academic needs of students in its surrounding areas and support equitable access to education for students in its vicinity, fulfilling the government's mandate to provide quality education without discrimination based on foundational performance. The institution already has the required infrastructure, including well-equipped laboratories, classrooms, and other facilities to deliver academic training aligned with national educational goals. However, the shared infrastructure with the MITD will continue to coexist to ensure learners in the neighboring regions are given fair treatment in terms of access to vocational studies and training, which is a fundamental pathway to education and skills development. I wish here to inform the House that similar arrangements already exist at La Golette SSS. Madam Speaker, I also wish to inform the House that currently there are 2 state schools to cater for the need of education of girls at secondary level in Zone 2, namely Quartier Militaire SSS and Bel Air SSS. Madam Speaker, my ministry has the portfolios for education, human resource, training and skills development. There is a need for a holistic approach and better linkages and synergies among the various partners to provide a wide array of services to our diversified learners for them to grow into productive and resilient citizens.
Thank you, Minister. Yes, second member for Rivière-des-Anguilles-Souillac.
Madam Speaker, my question B61, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed that in the wake of the implementation of the 9-year continuous basic education reforms, provision was made for successful candidates at the National Certificate of Education, NC, to be provided with the option of either pursuing their studies in grade 10 in their respective regional schools or being admitted in one of the 12 designated academies. The criteria for admission to academies are provided under Regulation 18B of the Education Amendment Regulations 2018, which inter alia states that priority of admission to grade 10 in an academy shall be determined on the basis of the grade aggregate and the relative performance of the eligible pupil in the best 8 core subjects, including English, French, and Maths, at the National Certificate of Education Assessment and the choice of the responsible party. Madam Speaker, as is the case for each tier where admission is made on the basis of relative performance of students, candidates have to strive very hard to achieve the best results to secure a place in a good academy. I'm informed that those who have applied for a seat in an academy but have not been able to secure a seat in the school of their choice are also given the opportunity of applying for a transfer to another academy. In all the cases of allocation of seats that are carried out by the MES, Madam Speaker, the determining criteria remains the relative performance of the student in the 8 best subjects. Madam Speaker, I'm informed that the yearly intake in grade 10 in the 12 academies for the academic years 2021-2022, 2023-2024, and 2025 for boys and girls are as follows. 2021-2022, boys 1,084, girls 1,084. 2023, 1,018, girls 1,056. 2024, 1,000, girls 1,069. 2025, 1,003, and girls 1,062. As regards the regional schools, I am informed that the yearly intake in grade 10 for the Republic of Mauritius for the academic years 2021-22, 23, 24, and 25 for boys and girls are as follows. 21-22, boys 3,548, girls 4,335. 23, 3,973, girls 4,662. 24, 3,966, girls 4,997. 25, 3,381, girls 3,973. Madam Speaker, with your permission, I'm tabling the statistics for the yearly intake of boys and girls in grade 10 for both academies and regional schools. Madam Speaker, we espouse the philosophy that higher ability students should be provided with ample opportunities to unleash their full potential and develop their talents. However, no structured survey has been carried out over the years to assess the degree to which academies have been able to achieve the initial purpose of operating as centers of excellence. In fact, it has been noted that there has been a number of problems, challenges associated with a mixed school environment being offered in academies, as well as with a disruption that is caused in the pedagogical pathway of the student when he or she frequently shifts to another school, depriving him or her of a sense of belonging to a school and imbibing himself or herself with a school ethos. Moreover, a vacuum is left behind in the regional school when the best students join academies, resulting in the school environment in these regional schools being affected and the morale and motivation of those left behind adversely impacted. In fact, these problems result in social, psychological, and cultural factors that influence the student behavior and interaction, thus affecting the momentum and synergy at all levels due to the perception that there are better performing schools or even teachers who are posted in academies, while in reality, the facilities and the services offered are the same in all secondary schools. Madam Speaker, those who join academies are not in a better situation either. After joining a secondary school at grade 7, they are again made to join an academy in grade 10, and then they are provided with an additional opportunity to change school in grade 12, where they get their SC results. Also, they have to adapt to the co-educational environment. Staff of academies have also reported a decrease in academic performance of students, mainly related to adaptability problems. Moreover, parents and staff have also raised concern about the security of children in the co-ed environment in these schools. All these elements will have to be looked into and an assessment carried out. On the basis of the findings of this exercise, a review of the orientation for academies will accordingly be carried out for implementation as from intake of 26. Madam Speaker, in this regard, I wish to inform the House that my ministry had on Monday 9th December 2024 and Monday 16 December 2024 organized the preparatory meetings with all concerned stakeholders in the education sector to receive their inputs, which will culminate on the holding of the Assises de l'Éducation, scheduled to be held in April 2025. The outcome of this exercise will pave the way forward for a review of the present educational system and formulation of new policy direction as from the year 2026, including that of upper secondary education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. The Honourable Second Member for Flac Bonacay. You wanted to have a go? Okay.
Madame la Présidente,
Catch my eye.
et permettez-moi de faire une petite réflexion. Et never in the history of this country so much harm has been done in so less time.
Honourable Member, you are putting a question or making a statement?
Before putting my question, I just want to make a small statement. Being from the educational sector myself,
No, I am sorry. I will not be able to allow you, because if I do this, I will be setting a precedent and everybody will want to make a statement. I can understand. I'm the one who does, I don't speak, so I also listened, because it's a very interesting subject, of course. Please put a question. No
okay,
statement.
thank you. So after so much harm has been done to the school community, can the Honourable Minister tell this House and the population at large whether a proper study was carried out prior to the implementation of such a project by the so-called pedagogue? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Definitely, this government is going to repair, to make amends for all the harm that has been done to the children of this republic. Rest assured, this government will take into consideration the views, the opinions of all stakeholders before deciding the way forward.
There's a member who's very good at catching my eye. Mr. Foster.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with regards to the Assises for Education scheduled for next year, will the Honourable Minister extend consultation in Rodrigues with all stakeholders thereat?
Thank you, Honourable Member. There is a consensus that a delegation from the Ministry of Education moves to Rodrigues in order to listen to the stakeholders in Rodrigues, because they have specific problems which are there for Rodrigues. Rest assured, this will be done, Honourable Member.
Good. Now, I think we move to the Honourable Second Member for Flac and Bonacay.
Madame la Présidente, B62, s'il vous plaît.
Madam Speaker, as a newly appointed minister, I am visiting all hospitals to inquire on the state of affairs thereof. Accordingly, I carried out a site visit at Flac Hospital on Wednesday, 11th December 2024. Many shortcomings were identified in terms of public safety, management of patients' flow within the hospital, infrastructural issues, and logistics as follows. 1. No provision has been made for a pedestrian crossing in front of the hospital. 2. Parking slots provided for patients were inexistent. 3. Taxi slots were provided some 800 meters away from the entrance of the hospital. 4. Visitors from different parts of the district are, in general, encountering difficulties in obtaining public transport to access the hospital. 5. There was a lack of signages inside the hospital to direct outpatients and visitors. 6, the pharmacy department is located far from the outpatient departments and no proper provision has been made for endoscopy and ophthalmology services. 7, the cardiology services were operational, but interventional cardiology services comprising angiography and angioplastic are yet to be established. 8, there is also a delay in delivery of critical equipment such as CT scan and X-ray machines for radiology department. 9, MRI equipment have been received but not yet installed. 10, the existing electrical generators have short autonomy duration and needs refueling every 6 hours. 11, lack of bathroom facilities and restrooms for staff. 12, no provision has been made for a canteen, tuck shops in the vicinity of the hospital. 13, the triage section has to be relocated with sufficient attendants, wheelchairs and patient trolleys for timely convenience of patients who cannot work. 14, limited number of power points, telephone sockets, wash hand machines, sinks at different wards and units. 15, lack of partitioning at the physiotherapy department and several other departments. 16, the occupational therapy and physiotherapy units to be relocated. 17, the laboratory, stores and dental services have not fully relocated to the new hospital. And 18, no leachate treatment plant for disposal of treated wastewater. Madam Speaker, I am pleased to announce that immediate action has already been taken to address the issues faced by the public and taxi operators. To this end, 50 parking slots are being made available to patients and visitors at the entrance of the hospital. Moreover, 3 taxi slots have been allocated nearer to the main entrance of the hospital. I am also informed that 5 parking slots have been reserved for ambulances in front of the accident and emergency unit at the entrance of the hospital for drop-off and pick-up patients, including dialysis patients. Madam Speaker, I regard the inhaled nitric oxide apparatus, which is currently lying idle at the hospital. I am informed that the nitrogen cylinder has been procured 2 weeks ago and the breathing circuit is awaited. Training will be conducted in January 2025 by a team from the US, and thereafter the equipment will be used for children suffering from persistent pulmonary hypertension. Madam Speaker, a technical committee has been set up to look into the remedial actions that have to be taken on a short to medium term with a view to improving the health services of the hospital. This technical committee will meet on a weekly basis and will report progress to me accordingly. I am pleased to announce that the services of one eminent vascular surgeon from Chennai has been secured to assist our team in complex cases of arteriovenous fistula, that is those suffering from those who need dialysis. Moreover, as from next year, an eye and a vascular surgery department, as well as a renal transplant unit, will be operational at Flack Hospital. 2 teams have already been set up for that purpose.
Thank you. Is that a supplementary or your next question?
Supplementary.
Okay, that will probably be the last.
Okay, Madam. Will the Honourable Minister please inform the House whether prior to his visit, a huge stock of new equipments were left unused owing to the coupe ribbon ceremony culture of the previous minister, which ultimately never happened?
Madam Speaker, but there were certain equipments which have not been utilized, and that's why I have mentioned that, let us say, within the next few months, all these equipments should be operational, but there is no need for any coupe ribbon business in the ministry.
Okay, yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I humbly suggest the Honourable Minister to even consider to, among the 14 measures that you will be implementing, maybe we could suggest to move the Medical Superintendent Office and administrative cadres that have contact with the public to lower floors for ease of services. Thank you.
I'll look into it, Madam.
Yes, Dr. Mia. Last question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I ask the Honourable Minister, having paid a visit to the hospital only last week, whether there could be an improved signage system within the hospital which will help both patients and visitors, because going there with huge corridors and so many wards and departments, you can get lost very easily. Thank you.
I have mentioned that in the statement that we'll be having signages.
Thank you very much. I think we can break. We can break for 1 hour and a half. We'll be back at 2:30.